Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining for the first time, we salute you and we appreciate your time as always. In this episode, I want to explore the post-election challenges in the country of Tanzania at the moment, as we've seen the president being sworn in despite the challenges in the country of Tanzania and why Tanzania brought itself at the lowest level regards to its own internal challenges.
Mimi, Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has been sworn in for a second term following elections that opposition have called a sham. The ceremony was in a military barracks not open to the public, unlike previous swearing-in ceremonies in stadiums.
Now, a number of people will say that, well, this happens and the country of Tanzania at the moment, you have to move forward and move ahead. But I think that is not the case. It brought a large or a most difficult question for the continent of Africa to answer, because the issue about democracy has put Africa, a number of countries, at the limelight at the moment. So it's a huge challenge for the continent of Africa to find out if this particular model, some will say it's a colonial model that was imported. However, it's worked in some countries, but some other governments and more importantly, some leaders have hijacked it for their own individual and their personal gains. And like the president of the country of Guinea once said, that a system that is built for a few individuals, it will fail. I've seen that. Why am I saying this at this time? I'm saying this because one of Africa's own governance experts see it differently, because the billionaire, Mr. Moh Ibrahim from the country of Sudan, questioned the particular election in the country of Tanzania, and he basically lambasted the current system in Tanzania and questioned the legitimacy in regards to that process, and more importantly, why, at the end of the day, if the leader, the current leader who has been installed, if she finds out that if she was so popular, why the opposition in the country will be banned. So Mr. Moh Ibrahim came out very clear, without hesitation, and questioned the process and figure out why this particular condemnation is not going to be holding ground so far. But again, that the continent of Africa, it goes across the board to question why, if you feel that you are so popular, and based on his own perspective that what happened in the country of Tanzania is unacceptable. Thanks to CNN journalist Larry Madowo. Let's play this clip from Moh Ibrahim's interaction.
Dr. Moh Ibrahim is one of the biggest defenders of democracy in Africa. You talk about governance a lot. You've made it your life's mission. President Samia Suluhu Hassan of Tanzania just got inaugurated today. Your reaction? Because there were a lot of protests in the country.
Yeah, I think it's really inappropriate and unacceptable to ban the main opposition party from elections. How can you have an election without the main parties? I think imprisonment also of the opposition leaders was not necessary. I mean, the election commission said that President Samia, she got 98% of the votes.
Right.
And that 88% of the eligible voters,
right,
they turn out.
So 88% turnout.
So you get 98% of 88%. That's over 90%, well over 90% of the votes of the people. So if she is so wonderfully supported by the people, why then the need to do this? Why don't you have just a fair election and allow everybody? Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of?
Now, Mr. Moh Ibrahim was very clear and questioning the authorities in Tanzania why they have to put people in prison, put opposition parties or officials who do not agree with their own particular level of democracy, what democracy meant in the country of Tanzania, by putting them in prison, or the opposition party officials. That is unacceptable, that a government running for re-election, or so to point out for the top job, has no particular opposition. So the legitimacy problem here, talking about democracy again, it hanging in the balance. And that's the reason why a lot of African expert economists, geopolitical perspective analysts, more senior experts around the world, and more importantly, some countries, some partners of Tanzania are questioning the legitimacy with regards to this process. And more importantly, are questioning where does Africans sit with regards to this particular model of governance, which to an extent has failed a number of Africans in a whole lot of areas. So Mr. Moh Ibrahim basically said that, going back to his own understanding, that by putting opposition leaders into prison, that is uncalled for. Let's roll this clip.
You know, let the ballot box sort it out. And instead of putting people in prison, killing people, shooting at young people, that's not right.
The internet has been shut down in Tanzania since election day.
Yeah.
And so it's even hard to verify what's going on, but there's reports of a lot of people
of
killed.
deaths and a lot of, and even prior to the election, there have been disappearances of people,
Yes,
there have been killing of people, abductions, imprisonment. Why you need to do that? If you are so beloved by the country, if you're going to get over 90% of the vote, why don't you just relax and let a fair election take place instead of really smearing the whole process by blood unnecessary?
The opposition
really
leader,
sad.
Tundu Lissu, he's been charged with treason, and his party did not participate in this election.
I think this is really unfair, and I hope for the correction of action and release of prisoners, because we don't want violence in Africa. We don't want all these conflicts.
He went ahead to lambast the African Union and, more importantly, question the legitimacy of a number of countries who, to an extent in the region, could not come out clear and question the process of that particular election in the country of Tanzania. More importantly, again, he questioned the tough language being used by officials in the country of Tanzania, talking about words like treason and a whole lot of things. So he questioned the reason why you could call nationals, because they do not agree with the process, they do not agree with regards to how things should be run, how the country should move forward in terms of its growth and development. Other nationals in the country may have different perspective as to the reason why the system that is put in place may not be working for every Tanzanian. And that's very important to an extent. So by using the strong language of accusing people of saying that they have committed treason, that's something that Mr. Moh Ibrahim found it laughable. Let's roll this clip.
There are self-inflicted wounds. Why you need that? This hurts our economy. Who will invest in our countries if we have violence and we have, loss of security and rule of law? It doesn't help us going forward.
The African Union congratulated her for her victory.
Also,
a lot of African presidents said their congratulations.
But they also know, the African Union also noted strongly the loss of lives and what happened.
Yes.
And probably the president has enough words there. It's fine. All what we object to or we don't like actually is this violence. That is unnecessary.
Would you tell her that directly when you speak to her next?
If she willing to speak to me, of course I'll speak to her.
And what will you tell her?
I told her exactly what I said to you. I say the same things. I don't have two faces. I say it as it is, and that we always have to do that.
Dr. Moh Ibrahim, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
So the continent of Africa at the moment, post-pandemic, is facing a challenging period at the moment, and Africa must really come out clear and say where it stands regards to this model of governance, and more importantly, at this particular time where we have seen a lot of protectionism, and more importantly, African countries must wake up at this time, because the credibility with regards to Africa's own some governance institutions is on the line at the moment. So the situation in the country of Tanzania is not a one-off. We've seen that in Central Africa at the moment. We've seen that in a number of countries and what's going on, because if governments fail to recognize the difficulties, the challenges that are out there, talking about national students coming out from university in their millions, and the officials sit there and eat fat and forget that the difficulties are widespread across the region, and more importantly, that they should be in that particular seat to be looking for solutions for their own nationals. So if you come in there and sit there and eat fat, then you expect that the ordinary nationals and citizens should not be talking about how you run your nations. Then you are mistaken. So Mr. Moh Ibrahim was basically saying that all of these allegations and things that are being said with regards to Tanzanian own situation is false. It makes no sense. And more importantly, it is about time for the continent of Africa to showcase that it has arrived and is ready to take the mantle. And more importantly, Africa, a number of countries like Tanzania, should be embarrassed at this very point of time that Africa is going through a transition. Let me know in the comment section what you think regards this particular situation, and if Mr. Moh Ibrahim was spot on regarding his perspective to the country of Tanzania. What I would like to look at this particular episode is more clearly that the country of Tanzania has gone from grace to grass. Tanzania has embarrassed itself globally, and at the moment, Tanzania is the poster child in the continent of Africa. It's embarrassing, and more also importantly, that geopolitical partners from around the world are watching Tanzania carefully, and the continent of Africa laughs at Tanzania at this time. How can you, in this modern age, go into an election without an opposition party? It is shameful, it is embarrassing at this particular time that the continent of Africa is going through tremendous difficulties, and more importantly, Africa is trying to sit up and figure out itself where it should have its voice. The country of Tanzania, according to Mr. Moh Ibrahim, has fallen from grace to grass. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.